Welcome to the MMIA. So you'll be boarding through the one we call the Terminal 2, the new one.
Okay.
But right over there is the old terminal. It's going to be renovated.
Okay.
Right? And the reasons are because, of course, it's aged, needs new infrastructure and all that. But within that same project, I want to show you as we go ahead why even this needs to be upgraded, right? It's a new terminal, about 4 or 5 years old, but there are some defects that we are taking care of. So I will be showing you as we go ahead, right?
Yeah.
So one of the first things you notice is most airports, right, across the world, what they do is they have the arrival at the same level as, as the road.
Yeah.
As the road leading to it. But unfortunately for this one, two issues. One entry, there's the entry, there's the exit, which shouldn't be. There should be multiple entry and exit. That's issue number one. Issue number two is you'd see that as you're checking in, as you're going to the airport, you'd have to go upstairs to check in. This is supposed to be arrival. So then you get here, you check your bag. Your bags are being checked in for you there. And after that, you still have to go upstairs. What that does is it puts a lot of stress. Part of the project is we need to correct that. They're building a road that leads directly to the departure. That's the road that's been part of this project. They're going to be building a road that will lead straight to the departure, which will put a lot less stress on the devices, on our escalators, our elevators and such.
How long will that take?
So the entire project, we are looking at it to last 22 months.
Okay.
So 22 months, and we're 4 months in, and that includes, stripping the old airport, doing because we're calling it the MMIA rehabilitation and extension project, right? So yeah, extension for this new one and rehabilitation for the old one.
So what disruption will that cause while it's getting changed over?
Exactly. So a lot of disruption. But we believe that in the long run, what it does for the aviation sector is that you have a modern airport. All right, so as you can see, we're going upstairs here. Your bags are being taken. So imagine having to do this for every passenger that uses this airport. The escalator, once it breaks down, there are issues. Once the elevators break down, there are issues. But we're correcting it with this project. To just make sure that Nigerians don't have to stress themselves. Imagine having to pull, big bags on the elevators and escalators. That is stressful, and that's what we want to end with this.
Okay. Oh, nice.
I mean, the new airport is nice. It's better than the old one. The ACs are 100% working.
I mean, the AC is definitely.
As I said, this airport is, say, about 3-4 years old. As you can see, it's newer than most of the airports that we've seen in Nigeria. There's a reason we're still, the bulk of the flights that come into Nigeria into Lagos still use that old terminal. There are certain structures at the other side that make it impossible to extend the apron. The apron is where planes rest before passengers can come into the terminal, right? Because of the small size there are very, very few planes that can use that space. So for the bigger ones to come, there's need to bring down those structures and extend the apron.
Okay.
And that's part of this project as well.
Wow.
Bringing down those structures and actually building avio bridges. So avio bridges are those bridges that you enter when you are getting off the plane, right? So those things are all part of this project. So what will happen eventually is you'd have huge planes. You'll be able to use this part to check in. So by the time we kind of take people out of that airport and start work, then they can start using this place. But in the meantime, just to also take care of the bulk of passengers, we're building temporary terminal just back there.
Okay.
You'll see it as we go ahead, just to also take some of the load off of this terminal when the work starts.
Okay.
And that's almost done now. I think it's about 80% done. So you will see it later.
Fantastic.
But before that, let me show you our e-gates.
Mm-hmm. Are they working?
Sorry? They are. So what you need to do. So the idea is simple, right? You check in, you have your boarding pass.
Yeah.
this is, at this point, you need to scan your boarding pass.
Yeah, your boarding pass.
You can just look at it. So this is what happens. Let's take a look. There you go. Opens.
Nice, smooth.
So no need for all that check anymore to be sure. And only, and as you can see, there's a guy here to stop anybody who wants to use this space, except if you have, the V card or you're not carrying the V card now, so they can't let you pass through. But then, all she needs to do is scan this, and she can go past. See, because she had already scanned before, it won't scan her anymore.
Okay.
So now she can take.
Okay.
So that's how
that was going to be one of my concerns. Obviously, it's great to have electronic gates, but then will it replace the people?
You will always need people. You will always need people. And okay, so that takes me to another thing that this current management of FAAN is doing. So we're using this for now, call them ODCs, that's on-duty cards. With time, we want to digitalize it. So if you don't have like these ones that's supposed to take you everywhere, if you're supposed to be on duty for 8 hours, maybe your 8 hours are done, you are locked out.
Okay.
What that means is that we use it to reduce the number of people who are within the airport terminal at every time.
Okay.
So if you're not on duty, your card won't work.
Okay.
Ensure that people do what they need to do. People are, up to date.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's definitely streamlining.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll hold people accountable as well.
Exactly.
But just want to make sure that the human element of the jobs will not be lost.
Always.
Not too many at least.
Always. Yeah, airports are across the world. You see, them preparing for Christmas and all that.
I'm glad to see the lights and the Christmas tree. Great decorations. Bravo. It would be good to see some of the brands coming on board and
so that's what's happening.
You guys with
this was done by a brand.
Oh, fantastic.
It was done by a brand.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Participation of the private sector is key for the success of any sector, but probably more importantly for aviation sector. So as I was saying, the federal government is doing this investment to prove to the private sector that, look, we're serious about investing in aviation, because as you can see, this is like a linkage between the new and the old. Mm-hmm. This didn't exist when that terminal was built. Okay. They had to build this. The private concern had to be brought on board to put this together. And as you can see, they are getting their money's worth with ads. So that particular terminal was nice. We moved to the one that needs an upgrade.
Okay, so you're saying that Zenith Bank facilitated this?
Yeah, this particular bridge. Yeah, I'll call it.
Okay, so in exchange, they're getting these adverts. Is that for life? Do they have a specific time zone?
I'm not sure of the specifics.
It's just really interesting to see how the private sector is playing a role.
Exactly. So, welcome to the old Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Terminal 1. The idea is everything you're seeing now will go.
Okay.
From the tiles to the electricals to the roof, everything. Look, because of the age of this airport, something breaks here every hour.
Wow.
Yeah. I can tell you that.
Every
hour something breaks. We're talking about elevators getting stuck. Why? The cables are old. The wheels are 40 years old. They all need to be changed. And we just got tired of these things breaking down, us, repairing them. That the MD approached the president and told him, look, this has to happen. This has to happen. And that's what gave birth to this project.
That's fantastic. Obviously I'm asking you questions because I know that the public always have questions.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that the public typically have when a big renovation like this happens is, how does this affect us? Good. Because they see all this money going in, they feel like we're struggling. Yeah. Ultimately, economically, how will this benefit the general public?
So last year, this airport probably processed, I want to say around 5 million or there, but I forget the number. Now imagine being able to process a lot more numbers within that time, right? Imagine people coming here and passing through this airport and not cursing government, right? Because it's more comfortable, it's more modern, it's the staff are nicer, right? That's what we get by spending that money. So it's important that the jewel in our crown is upgraded to international standards. So that's what I'll tell anybody who believes that, that money is being wrongly spent. It's not. What it means is this airport can now become a transit hub. By end of January, middle of February, this place should be empty. If I'm hearing, because even up until, as I said, something breaks in this airport every day. There's a food stall that were complaining that the roof was leaking just today.
Oh wow!
So it's like, look, let's bite the bullet. Again, we know it's going to be painful. We know there will be complaints, but let's just bear this pain for the 22 months that's been allocated for this.
What helps you guys to make that process streamlined? Because obviously, you're just an agency. There are other agencies that also work within the airport.
Yeah.
How does that cohesion process work?
I won't lie, it's difficult. The airport houses about 20-25 other agencies of government.
Okay.
As you can see, that's a quarantine, you have immigration, you have customs, everywhere, right? So to ensure that people stick to a certain code and do what's needed, we get a lot of help from the NSA, National Security Advisor. And I understand that there's a committee on passenger facilitation and security at the airports and at the borders, and they meet regularly to discuss these issues, interagency cooperation and all that. Yeah, sometimes it's a challenge, and because FAAN is probably like the biggest agency within the aviation sector, when flights get delayed, they say FAAN. When airlines have issues, people say FAAN. When people are frustrated at the airport, yes, that one is us. Yeah. So the ACs aren't working, that's us. But then most of the things people accuse us of are private. So a custom officer or whoever asks to check your bag for whatever reason, and people will come online and start accusing FAAN of it. Most times it's not us. When you come to the airport, when you see the guys in blue, that's us.
Okay, so what are examples of things that fall within your remit and which things have got nothing to do with it?
Look at FAAN as the landowners, right? So every other person here takes space from us. So we pay for the electricity, we're in charge of the air conditioning, we're in charge of the runways, what happens on the air side. But in terms of regulating, so we are an operator, public power supply. And of course, it's not 100% reliable. But of course, we have backup systems to take care of that. But at the same time, it still goes back to the issue. This airport is old. Some of these wires strip off. We fix these ACs, right? You fix them and 2 days later they are brand new.
I can't feel the AC at all.
Yeah, because okay, you can see how close the roof is.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the big problem with this particular level, right? You fix the ACs and 2 days later they are bad. Why? I want to go back to the question you asked, our role. So FAAN is like the landlord, right? The airlines are tenants, the other agencies here are tenants, the concessionaires, so the guys who come in here to do business, they are tenants. So, and then that's rule number one. Number two, we are responsible for security at the airport, within the airport, right? The fact that you're safe here, that's us. Then we also provide fire cover. So by law, if you own an airport or you run an airport, FAAN must be the one to provide these two things: security and fire cover. So that's our role. So when people come and complain about, oh, my flight is delayed, my flight got cancelled, that's the civil authority. Okay. That's their job. Their job, that's them to ensure that everybody's in compliance. So they regulate the airlines and also regulate us. So when let's say for instance, there are issues within the airport that are not up to scratch, that's NCAA. Same thing for the airlines, maybe they are not giving the service, their services are not optimal, that's NCAA. So that's the difference. Earlier in the day, you see the piano guy playing to entertain people, or they have I think there's the DJ guy is still there. Let's check. There's a DJ guy entertaining people. There are videos, I don't know if I shared it with you, there are videos of people dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the spot.
Okay.
This is the spot where we're doing all that.
So out of all of the changes that are being made, which one stands out the most for you? Like which one are you most excited about? Or which one is the MD most excited about?
I think it's the intangible ones, and that's about changing culture.
Okay.
So we used to have a culture of anything goes, and it's not just FAAN. You know, when it came to issues of welfare, issues of how people approach their jobs, but because the staff see how seriously she takes her job and how seriously she takes their welfare issues, everybody has stepped up. And then there's a program that was launched on culture change, right? That program has been largely successful. We now have staff who will approach you with smiles on their faces. They are more excited to come to the office to work. They are excited to be called staff of FAAN. So for me, that is probably the biggest change. And as I said, it's intangible, but it's very extremely important. That's one. Two has been in the area of revenue generation. As I said, her first year, this is the end of our second year. At the end of our first year here, we've been able to increase revenue by 150%. And that's largely because we've digitalized payments system. You see in Lagos and Abuja, we now have payment cards, right? Instead of paying cash. And we're going to go 100% cashless very soon. That's a change that we are extremely proud of. As I said, you know, using technology within the airport, getting our people to be more efficient, to actually love what they do. That's been one good change.
So I have one big question about culture.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I don't know if you saw my love letter to Nigeria. So I wrote a love letter to Nigeria, and I spoke about corruption, not just in Aso Rock, but with the people, starting at ground level.
Which I think is probably more important than, you know, government corruption.
Well, I feel like government corruption starts at the bottom because whoever's in government is a person first, right?
Yeah.
But we cannot separate that. We still need to stop that also, right? But the airport is one of the places that people see corruption a lot. But it's become so ingrained in the culture that most people don't see anything wrong with it.
True.
However, it's also become ingrained in how they balance the joys of the work, whether or not it's worth it. So how do you, I don't know if this is something you deal with directly, which is one question. Is it something that FAAN deal with?
Of course.
And the second question, in order for people to stop asking for something small in exchange for inequities or corruption in the airport, how do you compensate them accordingly to make sure that they do the right thing? Because telling them to stop is not enough if that's the way they pay their bills, right? It's not fair. It's not a fair request.
So I'll start with the first question. Yes, it's something we take very seriously, and I should have shown you. Across the airport, you see QR codes.
Okay.
We are actually telling passengers, don't give. When they ask you, do not give. And when you are harassed, these are phone numbers, these are WhatsApp numbers you can complain to. So we're actually telling passengers, don't do it, don't be in a rush. So one of the things that is probably done, that happens is, because they know you are impatient, you just got the flight, just want to leave, so you don't mind parting with a few nairas just to get going, right? So what we're saying is, don't be in a rush, do the right thing. Let them search you. Let them ask all the questions and let you go on your way. So we have QR codes all over the airport that people can report incidents of harassment or extortion, right? So yes, it's important for us. And as you say, on the other side, how are we compensating? As I said, this particular administration, this particular leadership of FAAN has taken the issue of welfare extremely seriously. The salaries have been increased. Allowances are paid as at when due. They call her Mommy Kuku because she's taking good care of her staff. So here you have the DJ welcoming people with the Nigerian vibe. And this will go on place will be a vibe. When you arrive, this is where you are picked up.
Okay. I like the DJ.
Like the DJ, right? As part of our efforts to make this seamless, we've hired more hands to help with, controlling traffic here. We've hired more hands to help us with traffic, both vehicular and human. We've come up with a system where it's only when your passenger is ready to move that your vehicle will come here. Yeah, it's still a bit problematic, but we've gotten other agencies to join us, like NASMA, the Lagos Traffic Agency. We have some of the police helping us as well, just to ensure that traffic is managed at this point, because here can be a real choke point, right? But then again, the real message is this: we are aware of the inefficiencies of this airport, both the old and the new. We're trying to tackle each and every one of them. And one of the big things we're doing is to rehabilitate and renovate this airport, right? Tear it down, strip it of everything. What we left will just be the structure. Reinforce that, right? Then build something magnificent on it.
Okay.
You have a video of what we're planning. There will be pictures that will be shared, but we hope to be done with this in, as I said, they started about 4 months ago. So in the next 18 to 19 months, we'll have ourselves a beautiful airport.
Fantastic. Well done.
Thank you so much.